Hello, Georgia551 here, and we are on the city server. And there was quite an achievement that occurred like about a month or so ago, and it took about 3 weeks to build. And that is the longest road on the server, which goes from here in the city to the farthest Mesa biome that we have found thus far, which had the best looking scenery, which we also, or should I say, I also built a huge observation deck. When we get there, we'll look up, see how it looks from there. So what we're going to do is, I'm going to see how long this road is, because it jogs back and forth, and we're going to pit stop along the way as well, because there are a couple of things to see along the way, and this is going to be done in real time. We're not going to speed it up and slow it down, because we want to appreciate how all this work and effort goes. Okay, that's Mesa Road, and it goes over there. What I'm going to do right now is I'm going to put my horse right there. Then I'm going to go to statistics, as Dave Letterman likes to say. Distance by horse. 15.34 kilometers, and I am actually doing this math by hand. I'm not using a calculator or a computer, which is scary. So what we're going to do is we're going to stay as true to the road as we can. And we'll talk as we go here. We'll try and stay as true to the road as possible. I'll just put the torch in hand so you can see more. That big lumpy arm is quite a bit to look at. So we're not going to cut corners, and the server likes to lag a bit. So there's going to be no corners being cut, because like I said, we want to try and get the accurate number as to how long this road is. I would like to actually at some point, okay, we're lagging again, so I take my finger off because I don't want to overshoot these corners. That's going to ruin our math. I mean, it's going to be approximate. It's going to be a pretty close number, provided we don't go way off into the distance all of a sudden. Now, I'll just stop here for a moment. No, actually, I'll stop a little further up. There's one thing I do want to point out is this road could have been significantly shorter, but didn't do it for a couple of reasons. Okay, I'm going to stop right about here-ish. Yeah, right there. I could have had this road go that way. However, it was going to go through two people's property, and I did not want to do that. So we took that little bit of a jog there. It's pretty much almost as direct as you can go from here. Now, up to the halfway point, there's a couple of things we can look at. One isn't, a couple of them, or should I say one of them isn't really much, but at least it's a little something. And two are of some form of interest. Unfortunately, at the halfway point, I haven't really thought of anything to put after that, so that's going to be a long, long journey. And here we go with that again. And there's quite a bit of ocean crossing. Don't go terribly far when we hit our first point of interest. So 15.34 kilometers, that's where that's the starting point. And like I said, the math is going to be done entirely by hand, and which means might be some slight inaccuracies, but very slight indeed. Alright, here's the first point of interest, not that it's much of anything. So what I'm going to do is pop the fence down here, get off the horse, you Okay, you go there first, and then there. It's just a village with a building that's condemned, and you can kind of see that the floors and the roof are starting to rot away. We got 2 stores. Bread World. Ooh. Bread. Now this separation makes sure that if zombies come about, that they don't come across and kill them. And my pet rocks. And you can get pet rocks here. And if you're not familiar with any of the videos on the server, we use the Alf at the Drive-In price points. If you've ever seen the episode of Alf called Stop in the Name of Love, you'll get the joke. Alright. Well, actually, I think that's going to pretty much add distance. Anyway, that's the first thing. And in fact, as you're going to see here, we're about to Mesa Road, REoLVille city limits. And we're at least 15 kilometers away. Or so the rough guesstimates say. It's 15 kilometers when I was building this road. So yes, this is going to be a fairly long trip. Like I say, can't appreciate how much effort went into this, even though it was in creative, which us ops have. This is a multiplayer survival server, but it's too much of a pain to keep up with infrastructure and what have not if the ops didn't have creative. Me and one person named Delay Pat are the ops. In fact, I think it was him who gave me ops when I was on the Templeman server. There's a few videos from there that I have on this channel. I was getting somewhat close to finishing a shopping mall there when the mall, or should I say when the server shut down. So when I got my own server, Delay Pat has a very good reputation of being a mod. So when it came to having a second mod on this server, there was absolutely no second guessing who would get that one. And stutter. I'm just gonna let go there just for a second to be sure that we don't overshoot really bad. Well, I get some scenery to look at least. There's some up points, down points. I'm gonna fly around and make sure that I make the easiest path possible. Well, a little bit of a cutoff there, but I said this isn't going to be perfect. So I mean, it could be, this definitely could be a little more direct, but it just made building and designing the road that much more complicated if we did. So we went for as direct as possible, but we also wanted to try to make it doable. There are some steep sections. There's no section that's greater than a half block in elevation change for every block of travel. So there's quite a bit of hill cutting. You can see 1.8 cliff over there on the right. There's quite a few different version style cliffs in this world. As the very beginning of this server, which you haven't seen, at least in this video, is from good old 1.0. If you've seen videos of Savatelli Stadium and the City Hall, that's all in 1.0. We did a tour of tour the city, which was before the road. Okay, here, Mesa Road. Go straight ahead. Micro Village is, let's just pop this. Then, boom, boom. There's a little village here. And one villager that for some reason decided it was a good time to go about in the night. Alrighty. So let's continue on. Hey, creeper. Whoa, 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 whoa. Hate when the lag does that. So we had to do a little extra jogging to avoid this hill. It was actually faster to go around it. And go. And go. Just sit back and enjoy the scenery. And over here we have Burton's Cliff observation point. In fact, there it is right there in front of you. Yes, by the way, if you've seen the Facebook page, there is a section on all the metal references that are in this map. This is one of them. Alright, before we hit up Burton's Cliff, let's go all the way up here. Bang. For you, stay put. There's two ways to get up there. You could take the hiking trail, which kind of teeters off to the side a little bit. Or you can take the ladder observation deck. It'll be faster going up this way. Admission, hike it free this way, just nearly 6,600. Free if you're handicapped. And here are the queue lines. Elevators to observation deck. And it's a climb to the top. The view from up here is actually really nice. You can get a commanding view of that desert ruin that we saw on the right. Okay, here we are. And speaking of, this is the side of the road that we're on. You get a nice view out there. There's that ruin that we passed. And you can go all the way over here and overlook this way. At some point, when I make this map available in terms of a new update, you could take this map on single player, stretch it out to full 32 chunk viewing distance, and really appreciate the views you can get from up here. On the server, you get what you get here, which is set to 16. And here's a view from over here. Alright, we came up via the elevator. We'll take the hiking trail down because it's easier. There it is. Like I said, metal references in this case. Burton's Cliff. Cliff Burton, former bassist of Metallica. Died in a horrible bus accident. Got crushed twice. He fell out of the window when bus tipped over. And stutter. So supposedly that one fateful night, Cliff and Kirk Hammett, the lead guitarist, were fighting over the top bunk on one of the bunk beds, and Cliff apparently, quote unquote, won the bet and wound up not really winning, because he fell out the window, the bus crushed him. Then when they were lifting the bus off him, something went wrong and the bus fell on him again. So that's a Metallica reference there, Burton's Cliff. There's a few others, like, here we go, stutter lag again, there we go. We also have, the first official one was, there's a video of it too, is the Axl Rose junk food dispenser. If you've seen what's happened to him over the last few years, and how he's treated people like a jerk, this is one of those, karma is a bitch type deals. Basically, out in the woods, there's a Axl Rose statue, which is not proportionate. It's just made minimalistic to support its function. And what happens is when you press a button, to the best of my abilities, it plays a little piece of Welcome to the Jungle, and then it spits out junk food. Of course, it doesn't help to have a tin ear, shall we say. It sounds okay to me, but someone who probably knows music will probably find that more than one of the notes are a little sour. Then there's... You would only see it on the Facebook page for REoL TOUGH. Anyway, I wonder if the server quit. Nope, there we go. Sometimes they travel longer distances, it tends to not like it. Okay, here's our next pit stop. It's an information center, which doesn't really have any information on it. Wayward Village, you know what? This is a twofer, so what I'm gonna do is show you both things, and like I said, creative makes it faster. Right over here, yet another village that people can stop and trade and what have not, or get some food. There's the horse. And the next thing, I'm not gonna take the horse along here, is the Mesa info. See the Mesa Tower and Misfit Farm. We'll show you that in a moment. Alright, here's the information center. There's not much here yet. Gotta come back and get stuff. This is employees only. It's nothing you haven't seen before when it comes to one of these. It's a beautiful biome, lots of colorful cliffs and water formations at the foot of the Mesa Road serves. It's the Mesa Tower, which has a breathtaking view of the area. Enjoy the views. Enjoy a meal at Chez Who while taking the view, which is a restaurant. Along the way, Misfit Farms. Need to put some more signage. Pet and ride upside down animals. And we go. Alrighty. That's one of the other things. And that says... oh yeah, information extract. Hey. Don't think I pointed that one out. Alright, then over here, REoLVille, where we came from. Mesa Tower ahead. Quite a ways ahead. I know some of you are probably tempted to hit that slider at the bottom of the video. If you do, yeah, whatever. But you're missing out on some of the breathtaking scenery. And as you can see over to the right, I did a video on that as well. I did it off the server because you think the 1.8.1 has lag issues. You should. I forgot what version this was. But it was unplayable, pretty much. Anyway, that's a monorail system that goes to 2 mushroom islands. I'm always saying mushrooms because back in the 1.0 days or so, they were known as mushrooms because of the mushroom diseased cows that lived on it. We are going to cross that very same monorail track 3 times, and that was 1. And that's my office chair. It needs to be replaced, and I can't find anything I like. You can see the 1.8 cliffs over there. Alright, here's the halfway point. Well, it might be just a little under that, but this is the halfway point, more or less. This is the Misfit Farm. What I'll do is I'll just make the corner, then I'll go pop it. Leash. And you should have went. There we go. Of course, if you name the horses Dinnerbone or Grum, they wind up upside down. And you got some upside down rabbits you can pet. See, this is the Grum instance. Upside down cows. And if you name the sheep, Jeb, all small letters with an underscore, they magically change colors. You can then go in the barn. All of these are rideable. This just looks so much amusing. I was positive I made that high enough that you didn't suffocate. You can come out here. Oh, this is gonna ruin things. Oh, I so wasn't thinking this one through. Oh well. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take, let's see. I'll take about... well, it's going to be fairly insignificant amount. It's only about 200 block difference, maybe. Alright, let's just speed it up a little bit here. Ain't that interesting? What I'll do is I'll knock off .2. That's pretty much how And it's approximately how long that track is. Like I said, this isn't going to be the most accurate measurement to begin with. And believe me, that little bit of deduction's not really going to make much of a difference. I just wanted to ride an upside-down horse. This is one of those long ocean runs, and like I said, from that point to the Mesa Tower, I'd like to put at least one other attraction in, just to keep things a little more interesting. But I couldn't quite think of anything at the time when I was building the road. So there's pretty much nothing. There's another 1.8 cliff over there. You know how Minecraft is. Once you leave the mainland and you get into oceans, you don't see mainland for quite a while. And here's that monorail system yet again. Funny thing about that system is someone asked me, multiple people have asked me, there's only one track on that. When am I going to add a second? People don't seem to get what monorail is. Mono, one, singular. You're gonna have to communicate with people before you use it. And you gotta hope somebody wasn't stupid enough to leave a card on the track. There you go, more 1.8 cliffs here. Some weird formations, that's for sure. Now here's where some of the hills get a little steep. Or either made hills or I dug out a huge chunk to make the grade doable. And someone's put a marker over there. Alright. That was land for a while. And yes. That is still the same system. And I believe we can see the mushrooms. Like I said, they were called mushrooms originally, so it still kind of sticks in my head. In fact, there it is right there. I think that might be the first one. That's the third and final time we'll cross that. And I get to look at oceans and islands yet again. Once we get to the top of the tower, it'll be worth it. Oh, server's been cooperating. Haven't had a lag spike in a while. Oh yeah, we're telling you there's metal references on this server, so it's gonna keep up some conversation here. Burton's Cliff, we just showed you there. Told you about the Axelrose food dispenser. What I was going to tell you, and I totally stopped, then forgot to continue, was... Actually, I think the very first one actually was the Meet Rob Zombie kiosk, where just made a kiosk, put a zombie in it, gave him the name Rob Zombie. He has been replaced multiple times because people just don't get the gist that he's not to be killed. He's an attraction. Then before Burton's Cliff, there is the REoLVille Hospital, which there's a video of that as well. And referencing the very poor, record the hospital has, and that the surgeons are a hack. It's kind of a play on words a little bit, but it's a reference to Slayer. I said that's more of a play on words than anything of true accuracy. And I think Delay Pat added an unofficial one. He calls his train ride in his part of the world the Crazy Train. I think that might be an Aussie reference. In reference to the song of the same title. Alright, now things get slightly dangerous. That is, if you're a single player. Underwater fortress ahead. This will happen twice. Stay in the center to avoid guardian attacks. So you know, people like to actually venture off to the side and, ooh, look, guardian. Hey, how come there's a lightning bolt heading towards me? Then zap and they get hurt or killed. You can hear him right there. End of guardian threat. There's one more of those. Big stutter. I don't know why, but my computer is struggling now. It's barely maintaining like 10 to 20 frames a second all of a sudden. I have no idea what's going on. This time it's not the server doing things. Let's just stop for a moment, see what happens. Yeah, I'm only getting about... Wow, I dipped to like 8 frames a second. I don't know what's going on. Well, so long as it's remotely playable, keep it going. Worst case scenario, I'm just gonna pause the game. at a point that it's obvious that I'm continuing from a certain point. Then come back. I don't get what's going on with this thing now. Alright, this is getting bad. I mean, this looks pretty unique enough right here. I was building this tunnel system and sand kept... Okay, this thing just stopped working all of a sudden. So I'm going to pause. When we come back, we'll continue from this point. Okay, we're back. As you can see, same surroundings. I don't know what it is. It's if I travel ridiculously long periods of time, especially the faster I go, or if I work in amplified worlds, this computer just doesn't like it. Just stutters and craps out a lot. And then it stutters and freezes up. All that wonderful crap. Then I gotta shut the game down. Actually have to do the good old Control-Alt-Delete and kill the Java platform that way, because it will not stop running unless I actually Control-Alt-Delete it. It's a problem after I play an amplified world for a while. It's a problem playing a regular world where I am constantly updating chunks after a long period of time. It's a pain in the butt. And because I'm recording this, it's just hogging up that much more in the resource department. Road was going to go that way, then found out that way didn't really work. It became more problematic than anything. So we just take this jog around that hill, like so. And now everything's running just fine again. I don't know why it just simply can't handle anything. I swear since you could allocate memory, I've had more problems with the game in general. Because my REoLVille computer gives me a hard time after a while, too. And still, I don't think this gaming rig that's capable of recording at 90 to 150 frames per second shouldn't be doing things like that. And that is the server. So my guess is when the computer was starting to act up, it ran out of memory, and we gotta let go. So we don't go flying off the edge there. And so when it's acting up, I look down and my hard drive light is constantly on, so it was definitely thrashing away. And we're not done with the zigzags yet. There we go. There's another one. Hey. See iron railings, you know what that means. It means ocean travel. There was one point that the bridge was a little too low, so I added a couple of sections where it rises for a little bit. Actually, I did add a little something. It wasn't much of anything, but right here, I don't know if they're still alive or not. Whoa. Okay, that's definitely adding distance I didn't want to add. But over there, a couple of coarse dirt houses that villagers were they're supposed to be living in. Oh yeah. I was saying, I typically don't make a 90-degree angle over water. It's because there was a little piece of land there. I don't know if the villagers are still alive or not. If they're not, I'll put more in. I had to redo the lighting on there because zombies would get to them. Again, underwater fortress ahead. Stay on the bridge. Stay in the center. In fact, there's the fortress there on the left. Sure we'll hear something soon. Oh, guess not. Well, there. Little tick. Couple of ticks. That's pretty much all we're getting out of that. And here we go again. Threat is over. Safety first, which the other sign also said safety first on the second panel. Those endpoints were pretty much determined by when I could start and stop hearing the Guardians attacking. Ready? And stutter. Well, that's more of a lag. Then again, kind of far away from the server. I'm over in the eastern half of Massachusetts, and this server that I rent is based in Dallas-Fort Worth, Texas. Quite a distance between us. Or should I say between me and the server. I think we are right about there now. Something about that looked familiar. I mean, I've seen it all before, but... Yep, here we are. We finally made it to the Mesa. Took a while, but we did it. And stutter. And stutter again. In fact, you can see generating in the background the tower. Alright, but before we go there... Oh, a lot of horses. Yep. Yep. Alright, I'm going to stop here just for a little bit. Okay. There we go. Again, another village. I can visit, buy, trade, sell. Alright, last and not least, up the big hill, and stutter. Here we are, the big tower, and stop. Gonna put you over there. There we go. Now, out of curiosity, before we go and do anything. Okay, distance by horse, 34:48. We're going to deduct 0.2 because of going around that track, so we call it 3428. 3428. And now we're going to do some math here. 4, 9, Alright. For the most part, it's roughly a 19-kilometer road, or 19,000 blocks. 18.94 is the math. That's right, I actually did the math with pen and paper. Let's go in. And here you go. Observation tickets. Again, Alf at the drive-in prices. Again, Stop in the Name of Love is the name of the episode. Get some creeper heads. It's a souvenir. I can't believe it's not elk loaf. It's an old... It's just a lame joke there. Mutton, rabbit, and fish. Alrighty, let's go to the observation deck. You are limited as to where you could go. You got a choice of that ladder elevator or this ladder elevator. We'll take this one, and we'll look out the back as we go all the way up to the top. Now, I chose a distance, an elevation that is not too low, so you can't see a lot of the detail, but not all the way to the highest buildable height, because then everything would be too small and the render distance will just really look postage stamped. Okay, there we go. So I chose a happy medium here. So if I went to the highest building height possible, that 16 chunk rendering distance would be showing up right around there, and you don't see too much. Too low, you don't see much of anything. Of course, if you play with the clouds off, you get the best views. Here are the money views right here, which is hard to see through. So what I'll do is time set 0. There. Just high enough to see what you want. Just high enough to see what you want. Not too high to look postage stamp and fade out with by fog. Now, of course, again, at some point, if I once again upload this map to minecraftworldmap.com with all this stuff on it, you can go in single player, extend the viewing distance to 32 chunks, and really enjoy it. Okay, we can go to Shezhu Restaurant, and we get a top level observation deck, and here we go. Due to lack of pork, we had to raise prices just a little bit. Alright, and here's the eating area. It goes around the restaurant. Grab a seat, sit down, enjoy the view. Same thing up here, except we got the kitchen. And these doors are locked because they're elevator access. And you can take the steps up to the outdoor observation deck, or it's a little harder to see closer because of the fence. But if at some point I make this available again for download and do it in single player mode, set the chunk distance to 32, then you can fully appreciate the abilities of what you can see from up here. Alright, now let's just say, okay, we're at 182. Let's go all the way up to 255. This is why I did not go with that route. They say if you can build that high, why not go that high? There we are. See how everything starts to fade out and the edges of the world are pretty much right on top of you? It's not what I wanted to go with. I wanted you to be able to see and minimize the fog. Of course, radio towers. And then we got the ladders back down. Employees only. To the restaurant. And then these. You're not supposed to use that one to go up. You can take this one down. Or take this one down, which I totally forgot to put a sign on. You know what? This was not planned, but you know, I see a problem. I see something that's not right. I need to fix it. We'll take this one because this one actually has the best view on the way down. There we go. Just enjoy the view as we head back down. Now at cloud level. And here comes the roof of the first floor. And there we have it. And we can come out this way. Emergency exits. You gotta let yourself out. Let yourself out again. That's traffic control pretty much. And that's what we got for you. And shot. I'd show it to you at night, but there's not really much to see. And we're going to end this video right here. Hopefully this is far enough to do what I want. Yeah, there we go. That's what I want. Right about there. That's the longest road in this on this server. I was guesstimating that it's roughly 19 kilometers when I was talking to people on the server, and I was pretty much right. It's 1894 rough measurement, and that took a lot of work, and I wanted to share that with you. Hopefully you actually stayed and watched the whole thing. If not, I'm not going to hold it against you. It's kind of boring, but that way you appreciate it if I kept it at full speed. JoJo551 saying, hope you enjoyed, and have a good one.